to the channel. So in the last video we have covered about functions basics in Python. Okay, so we covered how we can create function and how we can pass parameter to function, what is argument, what is key value argument and all. So in this video we will cover about higher order function in Python. Okay, so what is higher order function basically? So higher order function means the functions which takes another function as an argument, or it's return a function as an output. Okay, so basically higher order function can take function as an argument, or it can return a function, and it helps to make our code more concise and readable, especially like when working with iterables like list and tuples. So there are mainly four higher order functions. Okay, one is map, one is sorted, one is filter, and one is reduce. Okay, so we will explain each of them with demo. So what is map? Okay, so it applies function, means this applies a function to every item in iterable, let's say list. Okay, and it returns a new iterable, and that iterable is basically a map object. So we need to convert that into another type. Let's say if we want list, we need to convert that map object to a list. Okay, then we have sorted. Basically it is used to sort the iterable based on some key. Okay, so sorted is higher order function only when we use some kind of key to sort, otherwise it's a normal function. So if you use any lambda function or any function in the key, then it will become a higher order function. Okay, then we have filter. As the name suggests, it will use to filter some elements from the iterable. And then we have reduce. It applies a function to each item and then reduce it to the single value basically. Okay, so let's see the demo for each of them, and I will try to explain how they are working internally also. Okay, so first is, let's say, map. Okay, map. Okay, so map, the how the syntax is for map, we have a function and then we need to use iterable. Okay, so let's say we want we have a list and we want to square each of the number, okay, in that list. So let's say this is a list of some numbers 6. Okay, now we want to square each number using the map function. Okay, so there are basically two ways. One with lambda, another is without lambda. So we'll see the example for each of them. Okay, so first we will see without lambda. Okay, how it works. Okay, so what we need to do is map, then we need to pass a function. Let's say function name is add, and then not add, it's a square. We want to square, and then we will pass the numbers here. Now we need to define these square functions. For that we will add diff square. Okay, this is normal function. How we write? We will pass a number x here, and then we will do a square. Basically like this we can do a square, double asterisk. So this will return the square. So in the map we need to pass the square function and then the iterable, which is numbers. So let's say we store it into the some variable. Now if you try to print this, it will return a map object basically. Okay, it's a map object. To get the actual number we need to convert it to list. Okay, now you see we got the square of each number we are passing. So how it is working? So from this list, one by one we pass the numbers. So first number will be 1, we will pass it to square function, it will return 1. then second number 2 we will pass to this square function and we will get 4. Like this it will iterate for each number in the list. Now same thing how we can do with lambda function. So instead of using this, okay, so in the last video we have covered how lambda we can use. So we need a lambda keyword, we will pass a number and then we will do a square of that number. It is as simple as that. Okay, let me just do a print so that now if we run this, you see we got the same thing but without defining any function here. So we can simply use lambda function. So lambda function is very useful while using the higher order function. It makes the code very concise and readable and we don't need any extra lines of code to do this. Okay, next let's say we have a sorted higher order function. So basically the syntax is what we need to pass iterable, okay, then we need to pass a key. If key is none then it's not a higher order function, otherwise it's a higher order function. And then we have reverse, this is basically the order, reverse equal to false. Now let's say again we have some numbers or some names, basically let's say names equal to Rahul, Deepak and any name, say John. Okay, now we want to sort this basically. So without lambda, how we can do that? Without lambda, okay, how we can do that? So we need to use sorted. Okay, syntax is iterable, we need to pass, which is names in our case. Then we need to pass a function, key equal to, let's say we want to sort by length, so we need this function to be defined first, right? So let's define this function, and in the function we will pass what? We will pass the name, okay, and then we will return what? The length of each name, length of name. Okay, now what will happen? From names, one by one we will pass each name into this function name by length, and then it will take the name and return the length of that name, and then it will sort it basically. Okay, if we print this now, you see we got the name John, Rahul and Deepak. If we say reverse equal to true, then the order will change basically. Okay, now the same thing we can do via lambda function also. So instead of defining this by length function, okay, directly we can use lambda function. How? So lambda, then our key, let's say x, such that we will pass the length of x. Same thing from the names, it will pass names one by one into this x expression, and then we will evaluate this as a length of x. And now if we print this, we will get the same thing. So using lambda function, see how it becomes very easy, one liner code to use the higher order function. Okay, next is reduce. So same thing we will do here. I need to change this, this will be with lambda. Let's say we want to add some numbers. Okay, so let's say we have the numbers. Reduce will basically reduce it to single value. So the syntax is same, we need to pass function and iterable. Okay, so how to use it? Without lambda, without. So reduce and then we need to pass a function, let's say add, and then we need to pass our iterable. Okay, now we need to define this add function, right? We will pass two values, x comma y, and then we will return x plus y. This is our lambda function. Now reduce, to use reduce we need to import it. So from, it is basically in the func tool package. Okay, so import reduce. Now if we print this, okay, see we got the sum of all the numbers as 21. Okay, if you add all this number it will be 21. So this is without lambda. Now we can do the same thing without writing the function with the help of lambda function. How we can do that? So instead of add function, what we can do, lambda, we need to pass two values and then we need to sum it. If you see, we got the same 21. Okay, so using lambda function also we can use this higher order function. Okay, and the last one is filter. Okay, so filter also the syntax is same, we need to pass a function and iterable. Okay, so let's say we have these numbers again and now we want to filter it. Okay, so we will use filter. We need to pass first iterable. Let's say we want to check if the number is even or odd, so the function and the iterable. So now we need to define this is even function first if we are not using this lambda. So we will pass the number and what we will return x module 2 equal to 0. It means if it is divided, remainder is 0, it's a even number. Now if we print this, okay, so this will return again a filter object like we have seen in case of maps. So we need to convert it basically to list or whatever we want. So now see, we got 2, 4, 6. Okay, this is without lambda function, right? Now same thing we can do with lambda function very easily with lambda. So instead of is even, now we need to pass our lambda function. So how we can write lambda, we will pass a number, okay, and then we will check x modulo 2 equal to 0. So same thing, whatever logic we have here we will put it here. Now if we print, we got the same thing. So I hope this is clear how we can use these four higher order function in Python. So let me just tell you when we can use this. So map we can use to transform any iterable, okay, efficiently without using any functions. Okay, like converting this list to get the square of numbers. Okay, then sorted, if you want to sort complex objects like list or dictionary, we can use sorted and we can use our lambda function here also. Okay, then we have reduce, when we can use. So reduce basically we can use to compute a single value from a iterable or from a list, something like that. So if you want to add the whole list, we can use this reduce instead of using this, means doing other things. So we can just use reduce to sum all the numbers. And filter, if you want to do some kind of filter based on a condition from iterable, we can use this filter function. Okay, so I hope this is clear, this all higher order function how we can use in Python in our day-to-day coding. Okay, so if you have any questions or any comments, please comment in the video and please subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Thank you for watching.